All right, my name is Grayson Short. I'll be doing the gospel presentation for people in an animistic worldview. Now, this specific model, called the two kingdoms model, can be used for really anybody, but it's especially good for those in an animistic worldview who maybe have grown up in an environment where they're very acutely aware of spiritual forces at work, both forces of good and forces of evil, but they feel like they can't quite reach God. He's this impersonal being that doesn't want anything to do with them. Now, I personally use this in Zambia, and it works great if you have a pen and paper, but even if you don't, it's designed so that if all you have is the sand in the ground and a stick in your hand, just like we did, you can still present the gospel. Now, I begin by asking everyone, have you heard about Jesus for the first time? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, no, we have not. And so I'll say, okay, perfect. Well, I'm just going to tell you a story, a true story, and you let me know if it resonates with you at all. So I'll say, in this world, there are 2 kingdoms. There's the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness. Here's the kingdom of light, and here's the kingdom of darkness. Now, let me tell you a little bit about both of these places. Here in the kingdom of light, this is where God reigns, and God reigns over everything, but he's especially right here. This is where man and God can live in perfect harmony. This is where there is peace, there's love, there's no more pain. This is where man and God live together. And in the kingdom of darkness over here, this is where there's pain, there's suffering, there's heartache, there's addiction and loss. And so I'll just begin by asking you, where do you think you are right now? Do you feel like you're in the kingdom of darkness, do you feel like you're in the kingdom of light, living in perfect harmony with God, or do you find yourself in the kingdom of darkness? Now, typically when I ask this, they're going to say, you know what, I'm in the kingdom of darkness. There's brokenness, there's pain, there's addiction, there's all these things, right? And so I say, actually, I completely agree with you. You are absolutely right. So here in the kingdom of light, God reigns over all of this. And truthfully, God reigns over all of this. But what we also have to understand is that in this place, draw a little crown to help us illustrate this, Satan, or the enemy, a fallen angel, he is the jailer and the warden. He's the little king of this domain. Now, the reason that I'm saying he's only a jailer or a warden is because he only has power right here, but God has power over all of this. So Satan rules over here, okay? Now, originally, we started out with God in the kingdom of light. We were living perfectly with him. But people, all of us, we make bad decisions, we sin, we do things we know we shouldn't do, that we know are wrong. And so because God is a perfect God and he can't be around evil, we are now in the kingdom of darkness where Satan rules. This is a broken place. And now there is a divide between God and between us. Right? And so Satan is going to lie to us, and he's going to tell us a lot of things that we can actually get past this gap by a few different things. So maybe, Satan says, if you're just a good person, you can make it back into the kingdom of light. Maybe if you just go to church every Sunday, you do the right things, say the right things, you can make it back into the kingdom of light. Maybe if you go see a witch doctor, right, which is especially prevalent in this culture, you can get back into the kingdom of light. You give money, you do all these good things. But what we see is that every single time we just bounce right back into the kingdom of darkness. There's no possible way for us to make it out. Now, God sees this and he knows that this isn't right. He wants a relationship with us. He wants us to be back here instead of stuck in the kingdom of darkness. And so what God did is he has a son named Jesus. Jesus was a real person, the Son of God, and God sent him down into the kingdom of darkness on earth with us. And what Jesus did is he lived a perfect life. He died on the cross for our sins, and then he was raised back from the grave and ascended to the kingdom of light to be with God. And so on our own, there's no way that we can get past this divide. But with Jesus, when we put our faith in him, when we give our life to him, when we follow after him, we follow in his footsteps, what we can do is we can go back into the kingdom of light, living in perfect harmony with God. Now, at the beginning, you probably said that you were in the kingdom of darkness, but what I want to tell you is that right now, by following Jesus, you can be back in the kingdom of light with God. And I'll just simply ask, if you haven't heard about Jesus before, would you like me to tell you more about him? And would you like to make the decision to follow him today to be with God? That is all I got. My name's Grayson. Thank you so much.